Good morning. 안녕하세요. Buenos dias. Bom dia. Welcome to the second day of Korea-LAC Trade Innovation Forum. For those who are watching us through your homes and offices in our streaming transmission, thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Well, now we're going to start, and on behalf of the Inter-American Development Bank and the government of the Republic of Korea, we would like to welcome you back to the Korea-LAC and Innovation Forum 2024. We hope you had a productive day yesterday, but before we start, I'll invite you to take a look and check it out. How was our first day on screen, please? Hey, yes, with applause. Thank you. Well, before we begin, I kindly ask you to please keep your cell phones in silence mode, so won't be any interruptions. Thank you very much. Today, we embark on the second day of our forum with a promising program aimed at exploring deeper into the cross-border opportunities, innovation, and strategies that can catalyze our shared vision for a great future. As we dive into our discussions and presentation, it's essential to truly appreciate the expertise and accomplishment of our speakers. So, to get a deeper understanding of their backgrounds and professional journeys, we encourage you to visit our website, the official one, where you can find the detailed bios of each speaker. You can now scan the QR code if you like to. Our first session of the day is titled Agile and Smart Supply Chains Across Korea and LAC for a Dynamic Market Economy. This panel discussions will explore the transformative power of advanced technologies in optimizing supply chains. Please welcome now our moderator, Juan Paroli, lead officer at the manufacturing sector of IDB Invest. Seja muito bem-vindo, seja muito bem-vindo. And within our honorable panelists, Alejandro Lamertin, former CDO, Tenaris, Argentina. Andrea Terranova, SFO, UCB Power Brasil. Seja muito bem-vinda. David Broqueiras, ou Davi Broqueiras, Head of Digital Transformation, IDB Invest. Mário Augusto Santos Lafitte, Vice-President ou Vice President Samsung Eletrônica. Sun Hayamun, Director, Hyundai Motor Company, Korea. Now I would like to pass the floor to Juan, please.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to see everyone here on the room, and thanks for everyone joining us online. I think there's a lot of people joining us online as well, so thank you very much for sharing this time with us. So today we're going to be discussing smart supply. And we're going to dive into the world of how the advanced technologies and what are the game changes impacts for the supply chains. We have invited this amazing panel, each one with unique expertise and experiences. What we try to do here is to bring different experiences and real case examples that can be used, or at least can be replicated. So we're going to try to share as much as possible, not only theoretical or ideas, but basically what we discuss with our panelists is that we want to bring as much as real examples in order for us to understand real cases that have work or challenges and so on. Our main focus is going to be obviously to discuss supply chain finance, supply chain and agile smart supply chain. But also we're going to try to give it a focus in terms of Latin America and how that it connects with Korea, and we're going to provide a few examples on that as well. So when we talk about supply, smart supply, what we're talking about, how we can enhance communications, bring a holistic, integrated approach in terms of how the supply chains will work. We know it's very high tech, very innovative, very complex. So very happy. So thank you very much, panelists, for joining us today. It's a real pleasure. I know some of you are flying from far away. So thanks for being here with us. So let's get it started. This first part of the panel, basically, we're going to have a very brief introduction of our panelists. So we're going to do a quick turnaround, and then we will go specifically in more in-depth discussions with each one of you. So maybe I'm going to start here, in the order that we are sitting down. So Alejandro, maybe I can start with you. Just two things. So if you can share your organization, your highlights and experience. And maybe just one simple question in terms of the relevance of smart supply in the business or in your expertise field, and how that is relevant to remain competitive, in the global and Latin American markets. And so this is the same question for everyone.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm glad to be here. I'm Alejandro Lamartin. I am an expert in supply chain management and technology. I have been working in Tenaris, that is a company, global company, leader for oil and gas pipe supply in the industry. I have been responsible from the beginning of Tenaris in creating the concept of supply chain management, and how from different companies that came through acquisitions, we built a unique system where we could define every order for each customer independently of where the location of the customer were and where the production was, so to make this supply chain efficient. With this knowledge, I started working in technology and getting into technology, and so I understand a little bit more of the relevance of technology in the supply chain process. And now I am working as an expert independent and work as an external advisor to Bain, helping customers to improve their supply chain and technology use.
Thank you very much. Andrea, please.
Bom dia a todos. Bom, primeiro, obrigada pelo convite para participar desse painel com vocês. Meu nome é Andrea Terranova, sou formada em administração de empresas pela PUC.
In business at PUC, with an MBA at INSPER. I'm a member of the institute that is dedicated to enhance the participation of women in C-level positions. I'm the CFO of UCB Power, that promotes solutions for the storage of energy in Latin America. And UCB is Union Korea Brazil, and this panel has all to do with that. It's a company founded by a South Korean person 50 years ago and focused in energy storage solutions. Our supply chain depends a lot on external suppliers, so we have some challenges to address. I think the first of them regards the increase of interest rates in the world that is more and more important for us to have a lot of efficiency in the use of capital in a more proper way, and the forecast of sales has to be more and more accurate because the logistic time and the delivery timeline is shorter. And second challenge regards pricing, exchange flotation has been higher as well, and the post-pandemic challenge that we're still facing also regarding the supply chain has also become very volatile, so we have to address that too. So I think these are the main challenges that we have faced, in addition to others that we cannot control. The climate change that are more and more frequent around the world in impacting, for example, the drought that we had in the Amazon that was very significant. So these are the main challenges. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you very much, Juan. I'm very excited to be here in Rio de Janeiro and participating in this panel. My name is David Brojeras. I am the head of digital transformation at IDB Invest, understanding this as a function that is client-facing. So we help within our unit to support our clients in their digital transformation journey. Now, coming to your question, I guess most of the audience here know about the concept of black swan. For those of you who don't know about this concept, it can be defined as a highly improbable event that is unpredictable and has a massive impact for both society and businesses. So let me start by providing some recent examples of black swan that we have been struck in the last 5 years. One has been the pandemic, COVID-19. Another one has been the Suez Canal blockage by this merchant ship. And the third one is the conflict, armed conflict in Ukraine. So these three black swan events have shown the fragility of global supply chains in terms of the healthcare system, the food and energy industries, global trade, and worldwide economies. In particular, the shortage of microchips during the pandemic had a deep impact in the automotive and electronic industries, electronic component industries that are represented here in this panel. So what we see, and coming to your question on how we prioritize sustainable competitiveness with supply smart and agile supply chains, I would say that we need to start with an assessment of the supply chains. By understanding what are the weaknesses that we are facing will give us the opportunity to understand what are these unforeseen disruptions that are coming in the near future. So what this means basically is to identify what are the potential risks and understand the impact, in particular for the Latin American and the Caribbean manufacturing industry. So once we know what is happening there, the next step is to define supply chains that adapt agility and flexibility. And what this means, for instance, is to diversify suppliers, to implement nearshoring strategies, or to maintain storage of strategic components for the business that will help the business to keep running under the event of disruption in the supply chain. So now the good news is that we have particular help and technology which will help us to give some advance in the execution of how we could improve these challenges, which is digital transformation. In particular, digital transformation will provide benefits in terms of visibility, traceability, in terms of real-time monitoring, and also in terms of identifying new ways to make informed decisions and provide inputs with internal sources of information and external sources of information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. I will pass the word to you, Mario. Pleasure to see you here.
Well, thank you, IDB, for this invitation. Thank you, Juan, for putting this panel together. It's an honor to share the stage with all these specialists, and of course, an honor to share some contents with this audience. I am Mario. I serve as responsible for external relations and corporate affairs for Samsung in Latin America. We oversee from Mexican northern border up to or down to Ushuaia in the southern cone of Latin America. In terms of logistics, I need to start talking about innovation. Innovation is part of our DNA. I'm sure that most of you recognize this as an aspect of a Samsung brand, and indeed is present in anything we do, since product development until any process that we implement in the region. But there is a second factor that is a key for our logistics supply chain success in the region, which is collaboration. Collaboration is part of our development in the region, since from the suppliers, industrial supplier side, UCB is part of our supply chain, and I'm very happy to share this moment with you, Andrea, but also with our partners, retailers. So collaboration is the starting point for implementing effective and successful supply chain management in the region. And of course, we are extremely positive at this moment and looking into the future, as David said, in terms of implementing or applying new technologies or new ways that will even improve the capabilities of the supply chain in terms of generating more efficiency, lower costs, and then, of course, putting other layers of values in our planning, which is sustainability, talent management, because we need people, and community relations, which is extremely important for us to have positive relationship with the communities where we are located. In terms of production, we have 4 units in Latin America, 2 in Mexico, 2 in Brazil, plus 3 production sites in Argentina together with local partners, investors. So the region is very well covered, and we are very pleased to serve Latin Americans with our products all over the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. So a pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to meet you finally in person, so please.
Hi everyone, it's really pleased to be here, and thank you for inviting me. This is a long way to go, supply chain issue. I've been in this company for 21 years. I'm covering some government affairs in the U.S. So my office is located in the Washington, D.C. in the U.S. So what I see nowadays is the supply chain disruption is getting heavier for our company. So thinking about the huge and the wide and complicated supply chain in automotive industry, the U.S.-China conflict about the supply chain is hindering our production, our management, and our future plan. So this is a very critical and important time to discuss about the new supply chain, and also thinking about the Latin America, that this market is very important for our company, because that we are now exporting our vehicles to over 200 countries around the world. But there is much room to grow or enhance our production or our sales. But the Latin America, also Africa, is the main region we can see some potential and some growth and some good positive market growth. So it's a very pleased to be here again, and I hope you to share our company's perspective, our supply chain for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sung. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Sung, right?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will switch you around a little bit, and then I'm going to start maybe with you, David. David, sorry. 2 quick questions. First one, why agile and smart supply chains are relevant and important for Latin America? specifically in the manufacturing sector? And the second one, if you can share some of the studies that IDB Invest has developed recently in terms of how we can tackle advanced technology to optimize smart supply chains in the region.
Excellent, thank you, Juan. So first of all, let me share a couple of figures to show the relevance of the manufacturing sector in the Latin America and the Caribbean. The manufacturing sector accounts for 16% of GDP of the region and contributes with 20% of global workforce. So we're talking about a sector that's pretty much relevant in the region. Now, we are at this moment at a tipping point in which international companies are redefining their supply chains in order to relocate the production from China to other regions in the world. And this is a massive opportunity for the LAC region in order to be able to take part of this production and, of course, anticipate all the supply chains capabilities supported by technology in order to be part of this ecosystem. In a broader sense of digitalization, not just for the supply chain, but for the conversion and transformation of companies, we see in the research studies that we have conducted for the last 2 years from IDB Invest in the region, we have conducted research studies in manufacturing, in agriculture, and also in banking sector in particular for financial inclusion. But specifically on manufacturing, what we have seen is out of 35 companies that we ran a survey of digital maturity assessments, and we have different interviews with the executives of these companies. What we have seen is that they are at an intermediate level of digital maturity, which is in a scale from 1 to 5 and a value of 3. So what we see is that digital transformation, the low-hanging fruits have to do with automation, basically on the production systems. And what we see that we are lacking in the region is specifically everything that has to do with planning and supply. So even though there is a huge opportunity, at the same time, there's a huge challenge to deploy the skills needed to be able to grasp this opportunity. In particular, and coming back to the second question that you raised, well, what we see the challenges in the region in terms of digital maturity and smart and agile supply chains. By the way, when we talk about smart supply chains and agile supply chains, and here we mix both terms, we're talking about flexibility and agility in order to be able to adapt and anticipate to changes in the supply chain, but also when we talk about the smart, is the introduction of technology. So namely, we're talking about AI, IoT, RFID, analytics. So the combination of all these technologies are providing an edge in order to cope with all these challenges. So identifying the challenges that we have seen in these studies, I will start with a need to enhance productivity. Of course, everything that has to do with implementing these technologies have to do with going to the bottom line of the company. So productivity and efficiency go and work hand in hand in order to have this increase or enhancements in competitiveness. But also we've seen that there is a lack of talent, and Mario was talking about it before, and there is a need to deploy and develop skills that have to do with understanding the business, but at the same time understanding the technology. And of course, one of the things that are very relevant for us as a regional development bank has to do with sustainability. So understanding how technology can help to reduce waste, can help to come and use different energy sources that are renewable, and also can reduce the carbon footprint is part of the challenges that companies have at this moment. And just to finalize, I will highlight 3 things that are pretty much necessary, which is efficiency, speed, and again, sustainability. The combination of these 3 pillars is the magic recipe that we need to support the private sector companies in order to help them going through this digital transformation journey.
That's great. Very, very interesting, David. Thank you. Sung, I will go next to you. Hyundai Motor Company, huge company, very complex supply chain. Tell us a little bit of how you're structured in terms of your supply chain. How do you manage your relationship with your suppliers? And also let us know what type of strategies do you carry on internally in order to keep up the speed in terms of being innovative and keeping obviously things moving on in such a large and complex structure as your company?
Yes, as you said, automotive business is very complicated. It's because that one vehicle is composed of around 25,000 auto parts. So with a simple calculation, we can say that one automotive manufacturing factory has over 25,000 suppliers around the world. So it's not easy to handle this wide net, complex supply chain with agility. So for agile and smart supply chain, we are accepting and using some standards for our suppliers to meet. So these are like quality control and also supply stability, reliability, and they're advanced in technology. Also, they are using fair trade, also eco-friendly production system. This standard is very important for us to have maintain partnership with our suppliers. So we annually request these standards, some level of these standards to our suppliers and evaluate, and also help them to meet this criteria every year. Yeah. So sometimes there are too many suppliers. So we have some layers of our suppliers. So one manufacturing company, and we have a first supplier, first tier, and second tier, the third tier. So we teach and educate at first tier, and then first tier educate, second tier, like that. So we have some like the pyramid style supply chain around the world. Yeah.
No, thank you very much. I'm going to share that stat with my kid, 25,000 pieces in one car. He loves cars, so he's a Lego car builder, so I will share that with him. Mario, I will go next to you. Pretty similar to Hyundai, Samsung is a huge, complex, it should be a complex supply chain business. Share with us some real case examples of how you're actually implementing, agile and smart supply chain finance, and maybe if you can share with us some lessons learned in terms of how you get there, what has been working or hasn't been working on your end. Obviously, you have a regional experience, so that would be very interesting to hear from you.
Sure. Thank you for the question. We prepared one case to share with you guys, which is, I'm not going to talk about production supply chain, meaning components to go to the factories, or finished goods to go to the retailers or to end customers. I'm going to talk about one part of our business that quite frequently is not perceived by regular customers. But whenever you need it, it's the crisis moment or the moment of truth, which is whenever you need a service on your devices. So previously we had a warehouse of components to supply components for the service centers around Latin America, spread all over the countries. And we took a decision. We started designing a new way of distributing parts in 2018. And we took a decision to concentrate this in a very efficient and big warehouse or distribution center in Panama. So today we are serving parts logistics for service from one single hub, which is Panama. It is covering, as I said in the beginning, from Mexico to Argentina or Chile, 12,000 kilometers distance, north and south. Thousands of destinations throughout this territory, our service centers. And please bear in mind that service centers are small companies, generally speaking, small companies at the end serving. Previously, we had, as I said, we had this distributed in the countries, thousands of routes in and out. And today we can concentrate, and the result is that we reduced it something around 50% the lead time for parts request into the delivery, with a much lower financial impact in terms of parts stock. It took us from 2018 to 2020 for full implementation. We have 4 million parts in the warehouse in Panama. We serve millions of customers spread in 38 to 40 countries in the region. And due to the efficiency of the system, we also serve sometimes some emergency situations in the United States and Europe. So it became really a strategical pillar for Samsung, not only in Latin America, but also from global perspective. Of course, we put all of our knowledge on GSCM, supply chain management. We have our own system, developed in-house system, which gives absolutely identity to our needs, and also flexibility on developing what we need for improving it and implementing the new technologies that are available. Right now, I would say that we are in the second phase of this project, moving to implementing or aggregating some other concepts of reducing waste inside the warehouse or reducing waste throughout the logistics distribution. Also planning to have solar panels in order to move into a more sustainable energy source in Panama, in the warehouse. And very soon, in Panama also, we're going to start with e-vehicles for this parts distribution as a pilot that could be very well be reproduced in other countries. Lessons learned is that we need to start from the basis, from the economic point of view, which is necessary, and then of course keep the eyes open for the new technologies and new processes that are available in order to improve the final product. So this is the case that I would like to share with you guys.
Thank you very much, Mario. Andrea, UCB Power, a Korean family-owned entity, very in deep relation with technology and innovation due to the nature of your business. Share with us a couple of examples in terms of what have you been doing to transform and to implement not only innovation, digitalization, but also obviously looking at smart supply. What are some key messages and examples that you can share with us?
Claro, vamos lá. Bom, como eu comentei, né, a partir de
As I told you, from 2000, we supplied batteries, and now we supply solutions, energy solutions, and this was the technological leap. So I like to speak about the UCB has a more than 30-year relationship with Korean companies. We have a management model of supply chain, the Korean supply chain. Our manufacturer is in Manaus, Zona Franca de Manaus, and we produce batteries for Samsung and other brands. And the challenge to be in Manaus is the industrial Brazilian policy that they demand companies that are in Manaus, they have to manufacture, they have to have a local manufacturer. And this is a challenge for us. logistically speaking, thinking that in Zona Franca de Manaus, we have an infrastructure, we have limited ports, logistics models are also limited, and we have long term for delivery of the products. So what makes sense when we produce cellular batteries, we have a large Korean player. In order to address this, we had to understand the speed, the transformation speed. The smartphone market is very fast, constant evolution, cellular models, they change, and batteries have to follow them up. So we have to do a development research and also automation, and Korean companies helped us in our technological transition, knowledge transference, technology innovation for the South Korean companies to us, and this is why we invested in our manufacture, equipment, workforce to address our customers' needs. So what Mario mentioned about collaboration, we have audits. South Korean companies, they come to us and they have audits in our companies in order to have an advanced and faster manufacture. We produce today more than 6-7 smartphone batteries. We have a phase in and phase out in our manufacture, and they demand quality, and quality to manufacture smartphone batteries is key to our market. We have to understand South Korean culture, to bring this culture to the Brazilian culture, to have an expert workforce in our manufacture, considering the Brazilian policy, which is important for our area, which is Manaus. So nowadays we have a manufacturer which is completely prepared to innovate, to have a technological transition, and we address this globally. Brazil launches smartphones, and our batteries can be compared to launches in South Korea, Germany, the US. And an example I would like to emphasize is that this collaboration and this technology transference and automation, and what we've learned with the South Korean companies for the last 35 years. We are now in a transition moment, energy efficiency, we've been talking a lot. So we have a state-of-the-art technology. Thank you, Andrea. So
two questions for you. The first one, let's talk about a little bit of the future. Obviously, you have a lot of experience and you are currently focused. So let's talk about a little bit of the future, mainly globally or Latin America, whatever you prefer in terms of agile and smart supply. And also very interesting because it's very sensitive. What I spoke with some of the panelists was, on the regulatory side, how relevant and how sensitive is for the industry. So just if you can share a little bit of us, your thoughts on that as well.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I will try to build up on what has been said by David, Mario soon. Today is the art of the possible. Today technology is an enabler and can give you the possibility for a supply chain expert or somebody that is in the supply chain management to have full visibility of the entire supply chain at the global base in real time when needed is something that is amazing, something that we didn't have in the past. I will give just a small example of Tenaris, where I have been. Tenaris saw the market, how to revolutionize the market in US. US was managed all the supply by distributors that were having all the material in stock, and they were buying from the manufacturers as they needed. Tenaris decided to disintermediate and go directly to the oil companies with a model that they call rig direct. And with this movement, understanding the demand not from an intermediary, but from the customer on a regular time, on daily basis, they managed to reduce the need of inventory by a third. So now it's required 3 times less inventory to manage the entire supply chain. Imagine what this means in terms of sustainability. Imagine what it means in the US would mean 4 million tons less of production of pipes at a certain per year. So it's a lot. Of course, this will allow you to reduce waste. This will allow you to really be agile and sustainable. Now, what is the problem here is that you need to relate to, in order to do that, it's not only technology. You need to relate with your customers. You need to relate with your suppliers. And this can be done with long-term relationships, something that is very difficult to achieve when regulations comes every day, when you don't know if you can import or you cannot, when there are limits, when there are long processes to do the imports of the material. And this goes to the comment on regulations. I think Latin America has an opportunity to become really free trade and have a relationship with global players in a sustainable base. If you have clearer rules of the game, it would be much easier to have an agile and efficient supply chain, as David was saying. Now, on technology decisions, there are many. So the technology is available, but to have the right decision of your infrastructure, of your architecture, is something very relevant. Imagine the Formula One car racing. They need decisions every milliseconds. They have feedback during the race to take an action on real-time basis. Do you need this for your entire supply chain on a global basis? Of course not. The cost is very high. So the decisions that you need to take on a managerial basis are relevant, because if not, you, instead of simplifying your supply chain, you will make it more complex. And this is a key challenge. How you manage your data. What is the data that you need to make artificial intelligence algorithms? You would need this historical data. You don't need it in real time. You will need them in real time for the events that you need to take real-time decisions. So this is very critical on the decision path. Now, of course, there are many technologies that are coming up. Generative AI is the one that everybody is talking about, that is revolutionizing the industry. I think that we are still starting to understand the potential. We talk of productivity increases above 30%. For me, generative AI is a way to capture the unstructured knowledge, the knowledge that is embedded in all the documents that we have in the company, in all the experience that our operational guys have, and the opportunity to take decisions for the unstructured processes. We were talking about repair, service, all the things, maintenance, all the things that happen that don't have an automated structure. Generative AI will help in doing that. Last comment in terms of how do you do a digital transformation. I think what is relevant is governance. Has to be led by the CEO and has to be led by the business with the support of the technology knowledge. Now, the leadership doesn't mean to take all the decisions. The leadership means to follow it up to the final circumstances to make sure that the final goal is achieved, but then let the experts to do their work. trust the experts to do their works. This is something that is very difficult to find in the industry. I give just a small example from Bain that I work with, when a company that is vital, an operator in the oil field in the Permian Basin in the US, they decided to create the intelligence field. What does it mean? They are growing in terms of acquisition, and the only way to grow is to reduce the need of human resources. So how do they do it? If they really digitalize the well, they digitalize the operations. So he's following, and he has the team to do it, and he's doing it. But it's led by the CEO. This is very difficult to find. Thanks a lot.
No, that's great. Hope we had more time to go a little bit more in depth of everything that you guys have been saying. So we are entering our last block of the panel. 2 minutes each. Same question for everyone. Talking obviously about smart and supply and agile smart supply chains. Looking at your specific businesses or industries, let's talk about opportunities. Where do you see the opportunities? Where do you see, you know, the energy and the focus should go in each of your industries, looking either as a global perspective or as a regional perspective in Latin America? So let me start with you with that question, please.
Yes, if I suggest the one thing for Latin America region, that this region can focus on the establishing new supply chain for EV manufacturing. So nowadays, as I said, with the complicated supply chains in automotive sector, that it's not easy to change one location of a supply chain to another location, like Latin America. But thinking about the present status of automotive sector, then all global automakers are focusing on transition to EV dedicated company by around 2040. So it means that all automakers need to set up a new supply chain for EV manufacturing. And also this region has abundance of critical minerals, as we see that, like lithium, copper, also the nickel. So this marriage can help this region to boost, to set up a new supply chain for EV. So maybe they can leverage this marriage to attract global automakers and global suppliers to be here and the product at this region. Thank you.
No, that's great. Thank you very much. We at IDB Invest are looking exactly at what you just mentioned, just trying to focus obviously not only on the, for example, lithium production on the extraction side, but how we can leverage and increase the value chains of specifically EV, manufacturing in the region, obviously just to bring, to near shore, the value chain in the region, considering the raw materials that we have, specifically in the southern corner of Latin America. So thank you very much. Mario, I will pass on to you, please.
Well, thank you. The team has prepared a more corporate answer for this last question, but I just decided to share with you guys what I asked my logistics and supply chain specialists in terms of next 10 years challenges and much more on the digitalization and AI. And they produced a very interesting list of 5 points that I would like to share with you guys. First is hyper-automation and autonomous systems. So we can expect more self and intelligent robots and automation, both inside the warehouse, but also outside in the deliveries and the supply chain processes. AI-powered visibility and predictive analysis or analytics. This is pretty much what you mentioned about how to use AI to go through information that is cracked and lost within our documentation inside the company, and how this can be a useful piece of information that will be used to improve the entire system. So we deeply believe, and we keep an eye on that. This is pretty much on consumer side, hyper-personalization and customer-centric logistics, not talking about only same-day deliveries, but also how to deliver, where to deliver, the best way to deliver to the customer, even the packaging, which is the best suitable packaging for the specific customer. Industry, as a parenthesis, technology industry is really coming downstream and getting closer to the consumers. We have an e-commerce operation, huge e-commerce operation already in Latin America, and then we are learning a lot in terms of how to serve this very complex logistics challenges. Fourth, AI for sustainability in logistics. We deeply believe that AI will optimize routes, not only starting on optimization of routes and reducing the carbon and emissions and waste and everything, but there is much more that AI can collaborate in terms of sustainability. And last, just to close up and connect it with my first intervention, is collaborative AI and blockchain integration. We believe that technology can even go deeper on a collaborative environment with our suppliers and our business partners in terms of using the technology to predict volumes, flows, sales, production in a much more efficient way that we have today. So once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's an honor to share this stage and a pleasure to share the content with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mario. David, I will pass the word.
Thank you, Juan. I was listening to you, Mario, and I was just ticking every component that I was going to reply. Yeah. So I'm quite happy that we are very much aligned. So in terms of how to grasp this opportunity, from our perspective at IDB Invest, it's a matter of integrating these advanced technologies. So most of them have been defined by Mario. In addition to what he has already said, there is this Gartner research study prediction that in 3 years from now, 30% of the purchases is going to be machine to machine. So what it means is it's going to transform not only marketing, but also the way that companies behave and collaborate among each other. Of course, digital platforms is a key element. It's a key element to include in a same digital environment the supplier, the manufacturer, and the client. And also, I will say, to include the innovative ecosystems. So there are many startups that are providing very much specific solutions, in particular with predictive analytics and other technologies that have been discussed here, that are very much into how to improve competitiveness of the manufacturing sector in the Latin American and the Caribbean region. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, David. Andrea.
Bom, obrigada pela pergunta. Eu não poderia concordar mais, eu acho que a gente está bem alinhado aqui. O Davi falou que eu já ia falar, então eu vou sumarizar aqui. Eu acho que são principalmente 3 pontos muito importantes que tornam as cadeias de abastecimento mais.
The supply chain is more agile and smarter. So 3 opportunities that we could have. First, resilience. Second, agility. And third, sustainability. And resilience based on the fact that nowadays we're living in a world, it's geopolitically very shaky. And also post-pandemic world, we see that supply chains are more volatile. So we need to be more and more resilient to be ready to this challenge. And regarding agility, we need to adopt innovations, and for sure AI is one of them, but also fact-driven decision making. It's more and more important for us to be more and more agile in decision making. And last but not least, sustainability. I think we're looking for having a more sustainable future for everyone. So it would be better if we had the entire supply chain to be aligned with all these points so that together we could be able to overcome these challenges we are living and have a more sustainable world in the future. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Alejandro?
Thank you. I will not repeat all of what has been already said. I will emphasize what is very relevant in terms of technology is there. The thing is how you organize yourself. From studies from all the big consultants, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, we understand that 30% of the digital transformations that are being effective are only effective. So of the total 100, only 30% can be somehow effective. Now, in a study recently done by Bain, only 18% reached their goals that were expected. So we have a big room for improvement in terms of impact in digital transformation, and it's not a question of technology, it's a question of knowledge, it's a question of how you organize yourself, it's a question of governance, it's a question of leadership, and it's something that each company has to look really seriously in their organizations. It's cannot be decided by the CEO himself or herself, cannot be decided by the board themselves alone, has to be also been rooted by the operations themselves. The guys from operation, the guys that really do the business, has a say in that. And then get connected, as was mentioned by David, by the experts. There are big players, but there are also small startups that have specific knowledge to the things that you really need. These are the ones that can accelerate your transformation. So this is my short piece of advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. All right, so we're reaching the end of our panel. So thank you very much for everyone to join us here. Thanks everyone that's online watching us as well. I will wrap up. I just wrote pretty much, the major topics that you guys mentioned, and I just wanted to, close with this. But basically, we've been talking about, timing and innovation, and when is the right time to bring those into action into your respective businesses. Flexibility and agility, obviously, an ongoing changing world in everything that we do. So obviously that's a big part of it. Technology and acknowledge, and I think that's very relevant when we talk about Latin America, how we can be more aggressive in terms of building that capacity locally as well. And then wrapping up everything in terms of collaboration. So how we could collaborate between all the areas, all different stakeholders that are related into that. So, today we saw, a few examples in different industries, automotive, electronics, battery, electric batteries, lithium batteries based, an expert in supply chain with a lot of experience in terms of mining and other sectors. So thanks, Alejandro, and then obviously David with a lot of insights in terms of digitalization and innovation. So thank you very much, panelists. It was a pleasure to have you on. Very interesting and important remarks here. So with this, I will close, and thanks everyone again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Juan. It was an excellent way to start off our day. I invited you to official picture, please, at the stage. And as Mario said as well, we should keep our eyes open to new technologies. So thank you very much for being here with us. We brought a little bit of quality, innovation, training, investments, automation, digitalization of the operations, management models, collaborative environment, research and development. We brought all a bit during this first panel of the day. Thank you very much to our moderator and our panelists. And now we should continue and go to our plenary session, actually the final plenary session, which the title is Blockchain and Digital Economy, the New Frontier for Innovators in Korea and LAC. This panel will present emerging use cases from the private sector in Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean, discussing the overarching need for digital public infrastructure to integration between Korea and LAC. So now, please welcome our moderator, Marcelo Cabral, Unit Chief of Scalability, Knowledge and Impact, IDB Lab. Seja muito bem-vindo. Com uma salva de palmas, yes, please, some applause. And our distinguished panelists, Young Kap Kim, President and CEO, Global Digital Innovation Network, Korea. Welcome to our stage. Bruno Batavia, Director of Emerging Technologies, Valor Capital Brasil. Seja bem-vindo, Bruno. Chae Hon-chin, CEO, Hopei, Korea. Guillermo Villanueva, CEO, Extremian, Argentina. Sea muy bienvenido, Guillermo. E now, I would like to pass the floor to you, Marcelo.
Obrigado.
Agora o palco é todo seu. Obrigada.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the panel. We are super happy to be here. This conversation is going to be about blockchain, digital economy, and a lot of other topics that you will find of great interest. But let me first tell you that I'm working here as a moderator, but also as somebody that's very interested in this conversation. The IDB Lab, which is the innovation and venture arm of the IDB, it's vested in using technologies and to actually accelerating the adoption of these technologies, especially among early stage companies. So conversations about startups, conversations about ecosystems around startups, and of course, investment funds that are working on that area are super key to us. We are also interested to be here and an important topic for us because we've been investing in blockchain. And we also been investing in artificial intelligence. And one of the things that we're going to be exploring is for startups and for the ecosystem, the convergence between artificial intelligence, which is a lot of conversations going on, and blockchain that we think that are intertwined and important to connect. So what I'm going to do now, essentially, is I'm going to ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves again, but just to tell you what they do and what their interests are. And also, which is super important for you guys to know, is that we will have an unstructured conversation, okay? So there's going to be some interruptions, there's going to be some re-questioning. This is an opportunity for us here to learn as well from each other, and we hope that you can learn from the conversation in the same vein. So, John Gab, you are the first one.
Good morning. Yes, still morning. Good morning. My name is Jong Gap Kim. I'm the CEO of a Global Digital Innovation Network Foundation. Its former name is Born to Global Center. We are a quasi-private and public organization under the Ministry of Science and ICT of Korea. And personally, my background is 20 years in the United States, 10 years Korea, and about 8 years LATAM with the innovative technology global business. And the GDIN, its main goal is innovative tech startup globalization. So our mission is global collaboration, especially in the digital technology company, how we make them apply the global digital transformation project and helping accelerate their digital transformation with very innovative technology. So that's why we came here in the LATAM, and we do our best to introduce new innovative idea and trying to find out the local right partner and make them work together. This is a Global Digital Innovation Network.
Thank you. And I have to say that we've been partners and we have succeeded and failed together, and we'll continue to succeed and fail together moving forward. Thank you very much for being here. Bruno, another partner of us, by the way.
No, thank you so much, Marcel. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning. My name is Bruno Batavia. I'm the Director of Emerging Technologies at Valor Capital Group, a US-based fund with a very large footprint in Latin, especially Brazil. I'm the head of investments in emerging technologies, which means invest in blockchain, crypto, digital assets in general, but also AI, quantum, any kind of deep tech thesis. Valor is the largest institutional investor in crypto and blockchain in Latam. By far, started back in 2014, and by now have a large portfolio with around 20 plus investments on blockchain out of 130 companies. Prior to joining Valor, I was at the Brazilian Central Bank for 13 years. I was leading the digital asset and digital money efforts there since 2017. I was the deputy head and project manager of the Brazilian Central Bank Digital Currency Initiative. And I'm very happy to be here and to discuss with all of you.
We will ask you more about your experience. ACE, I'm going to use the name ACE because that's a common conversation that we have.
He's an ace.
He's an ace as well. By the way, congratulations for your presentation yesterday. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ace, Jae-hoon Shin. I go by Ace when I travel around the world. I'm the CEO of Hopay. We are the company focusing on building digital infrastructure, especially for digital identity infrastructure based on blockchain technology. Prior to this, we have successfully delivered during COVID-19 for the South Korean government a COVID vaccination pass for that was used by 43 million daily active users. And now we are focusing more on the global standard. A lot of governments are started to issue their, building their own system for digital identity, and we are helping them transform into a digital space.
Thank you, Ace. And Guillermo, I know that you're not feeling well, so we really appreciate that you're here with us in this panel. So go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Guillermo Villanueva. I am the CEO of Extremian, which is a company which also works in digital identity and verifier credential, verifier information. And we are working all around the Spanish-speaking countries in Latam, from Mexico to Argentina, in order to deliver the same or similar things that are delivering in Korea. And also we are working in the interoperability at the global scale because we need to connect all the frameworks that are being deployed in different countries.
So thank you. A lot of conversations, I'm going to go right away on this one. A lot of conversations about artificial intelligence, Gen AI, opportunities for investment, adoption by startups and other small actors there. Less conversations about blockchain, and our panel is about blockchain. So I want to go right ahead and give you 1 minute, 1 minute and a half to each of you to try to explain to the audience and to discuss the connections between the two technologies and what we should be thinking together about the two technologies. Duncan?
You mean the blockchain and AI?
Blockchain and AI.
Most hot topic recently. I'm not the engineer, I'm the financial guy. But in my understanding, blockchain is kind of the methodology, how we deliver something through the very safe way and the decentralized way of the delivery method. But AI is kind of the tools. So it's not just the integrate together, but it has a special functionality each other. So I think the blockchain plus AI is a much bigger impact because we can secure our data security and the transparent and the decentralized. Plus, add on that, AI can analyze very safely. So recently the MS accident came out and all cloud is stopped. And the airplane is stopped, everything is stopped. So in Korea, now the issue is coming out, is sovereign cloud, how we secure data under the sovereign system. So this is the right timing to issue how we combine, work together, blockchain and AI and then secure our personal privacy and the national privacy also.
That's a great explanation. And I'm not an engineer either, so I couldn't understand that very well. Bruno, can you add something to that?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have the privilege to invest both in AI and blockchain, but I really like the overlap between AI and blockchain. I think there are a lot of opportunities there. I think blockchain as a technology, as a tech stack that unlocks automation, because if you think blockchain and a layer of smart contracts, you can add a lot of programmability, which it is. You can specify the conditions that will trigger the exchange between assets and payments, or assets and assets. And you think of AI as also an opportunity to deliver more automation. I think it really combines very well, because not everything will be inside a blockchain network. And of course, trades and settlement and a lot of the business will run within the network, but there are a lot of last mile integrations and steps that if you think of AI stack can help. When you think about AI and Gen AI, you have agents that can deliver this type of last mile integration, but also there are different theses that we like. There are theses that it's called deepening, decentralized physical infrastructure. That's just like an interesting name for the combination between IoT and blockchain. And if you think about AI, especially on the computation part, if you're training large language models or even smaller modules, there are a lot of demand for computation hardware, right? And these hardwares are very expensive. Think of NVIDIA GPUs, H100s. And blockchain is also a way to pool the hardware that will unlock the computation, and you can incentivize people that are pooling together resources with tokens. So this is an interesting thesis as well.
So, Ace, thank you, Bruno. From the perspective of the entrepreneur, using both technologies, how do you go about doing that?
So recently, we've seen a lot of demands in AI. AI definitely built more efficient way of working and thinking as well. But the darker side of AI, for example, what about the data ownership? Who gets to reward? Who gets rewarded for the data the AI models consuming? Or what about the deepfake AI that are security breaches? So those are the darker parts. As AI gets better, the darker parts gets bigger as well, which the part that blockchain can take in and make. I see more market demands of how blockchain can complement those kind of darker sides from the AI.
Thank you, Ace. Guillermo, I'm sure you're going to be on the same page, but give us your perspective.
Yes, definitely. What we see is AI is acting as an accelerator because we had a problem before the explosion of AI. And right now, we have more urgency to distinguish which is synthetics and which is real. And this is where things like digital identity, verified credentials, verified information come into the picture. So what we are seeing in the Latin American region, also around the world, is that we are experimenting a lot of traction in order to implement this kind of technology as a countermeasure to, for example, deepfakes.
Great. So accelerator it's a good word to remember. John Cap, I'm going to go again to you. So now that we have discussed this, going to Korea and going to the scene there on the blockchain industry this time, specifically, on startups, what do you see developing there? And what are the opportunities that do you think that we should be seeing?
Right. In Korea, in blockchain technology, we have very sad history. Because the first product with the blockchain, it was the crypto coin.
Currency.
Yeah, that's why we have a perception. It can be a scam, or it can be the business. But now, the Korea government tried to build up the digital government platform. And we try to introduce new different type of blockchain, not the cryptocurrency. Blockchain technology, we try to focusing on the blockchain itself and how we avoid that kinds of difficulty or bad thing from the the abuse of the the AI or the other system. So this is a good thing now, and so rapidly we try to apply here and there, not only the art and the song, but also agriculture and even the military. Now I can issue my college graduation certification through my handphone. This is a typical blockchain technology. So wherever I need to submit my certification, I just issue in a second and then showing them. And even though my registration card, I can hold in my cell phone. So this is dramatically from the very sad history, but recently, 3 to 5 years, we make some industrialized and normal use of the blockchain technology.
So, Jungap, do you think the government intervention in this sense is key and important? Would you advise that?
Yeah, we try to accelerate.
Okay.
Yeah, to providing the platform and as many as the data can be transferred blockchain technology.
Okay, Bruno, let me jump directly to you on that one, because I think that you can reflect on, for your experience and where you are now, on government intervention, blockchain, and the opportunities for the industry there. I'm always thinking about the end user, but it's important to set up the framework here in which our startups are actually working.
No, I totally agree. I think it's very important to have the proper infrastructure and the proper regulatory framework in order for entrepreneurs, companies to innovate on top. And it's also important for the government and the private sector to also work together and put together these opportunities. But I think in Brazil, there's a special dynamic ongoing. As I mentioned, I had the chance to lead the digital assets and digital money efforts at the central bank level. And Brazil has a clear ambition to deploy a blockchain tech stack in the core of the financial system and the capital markets. There's a project called DREX, which is not only a central bank digital currency, but it's also a platform for broader tokenization that will allow banks, fintechs, payment institutions in general to tokenize deposits, but also the capital markets, the funding industry, OTC markets, to tokenize any kind of assets and to trade and to leverage automation and new tools such as smart contracts, programmability, and a lot of innovation that will come on top across the whole nation. And this is a trend that's not ongoing only in Brazil. You can think about the plumbing, the financial infrastructure. If you look back 20, 30 years ago, we had some waves. So the first wave was new wholesale payment infrastructures, settlement infrastructure that were called RTGSs, real-time gross settlement systems. So every central bank has one. And then maybe the past 5 to 8 years, we had the new instant payment systems such as Pix, the instant payment system in Brazil, UPI in India, Korea in Mexico, and many others such as South Korea. And the next wave of financial market infrastructure will be blockchain-based. We've been seeing that. And it really can unlock opportunities. It's a novel tech stack. So new opportunities there, but also can create really interconnected ecosystems, not only on the domestic, but also international level. And I think there's a clear connection between Latin, especially in Brazil and Asia. So South Korea as well. I had the chance to work together with the BOK, Bank of Korea, and it's amazing work that the Bank of Korea is doing, and a lot of commonalities. So I think there's a clear bridge as well. But other countries such as Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, others are trying out this new technology. It's so interesting to see a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs who will be unlocked.
You work quite a bit in Latin America and the Caribbean, so let me challenge you a little bit there. Some people will tell you that Brazil is an outlier in this development that you just described. Would you think that that's something that can be replicated by other countries in Latin America and the Caribbean?
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of path, I mean.
Yeah, if you think about this trend as a new type of digital public infrastructure as DPI, and we had with Pix. So the regulator, the central bank, has been very open and also interacting with, especially the central banks and like the Latin region. So I think if it's something that will work here, probably to be exported to other countries, especially the ones that are close, so that can have like a positive impact as a digital public good and new rails. So could be like some kind of Drax effect. That's the Brazilian project. But Latam has been experimenting very broadly when it comes to digital assets and blockchain. Because if you look at Argentina, there are many cryptocurrencies, many projects that scaled globally from there. Mexico, if you think about nearshoring, a lot of cross-border opportunities between Mexico and US around stable coins, even trade finance. A lot of automations, intermediation, unlocking of working capital. So I think there are like different use cases of blockchain technology across the region. I look across the region as well. So yeah, I think it really depends. The ecosystem is different depending on the country, but everyone is exploring. Some of the efforts are driven by the government, but other countries are more like kind of like a blockchain crypto community that's trying to push them. But I think it will come all together at some point.
Great. Ace, I saw you assenting, saying yes. So I want to know what's in your head now. But I'm going to ask you a question as well. And the question is the following. We discussed government a little bit here. But we also know of your experience with vaccination in Korea and using this technology for, an opportunity and a solution for a very critical time. So we discussed a little bit before the panel about adoption or using that as a leverage to, to go to other type of industries, or other type of verticals and work with that. So can you reflect on, from your perspective, what's your experience there and what are the opportunities there?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur and as a startup, there were a lot of opportunities actually working with government side. A lot of governments around the world, they not only budget startups, but they open startups not only for the domestic startups, but also they are inviting all the startups around the world. For example, Germany Sprint project that were rewarding $1 million for a year, open to all the startups internationally. US, there was a project under Department of Homeland Security named SVIP, Silicon Valley Innovation Program, that was also open to all the startups around the world. So as a tech startup, I see there's more like opportunities for contributing to the GovTech, and also which I believe South Korea and Latam, especially Brazil, has a lot of advantage in that spot. According to a World Bank, there's a index named GovTech
Maturity Index.
Yeah, GovTech Maturity. Thank you, Bruno. Maturity Index, and South Korea is the first place, and Brazil is the second. So we definitely have our advanced technology, advanced experience on that, which can also put startup as like a bridge to having a GovTech export kind of opportunities.
That's super interesting to us because we discussed before, the connections between startups and government is something that we need to go deeper in. Guillermo, this is interesting because we discussed the government, we touched upon Brazil, but I want to learn a little bit more about your experience in Latin America and the Caribbean, the rest of Latin America, and what you see there with these opportunities.
Yes, we are seeing similar patterns. Probably we are one step before, but we are starting to see collaboration between governments and seeing government as an enabler of the innovation ecosystem. And government has a unique opportunity to create a new digital infrastructure. Think that today in the digital world, the most critical part of creating an startup is creating a critical mass of users. Mm-hmm. And the internet today is built around what we know as walled gardens, which is companies that have been successful to create a critical mass of users and then exploit for their own benefits. What we are seeing is that governments using initiatives like digital identities platform can create a critical mass of users that will be available for all the startups in the jurisdiction. And this is going to foster the innovation and lower the barriers for innovators like us to address all the jurisdiction or people that lives in the jurisdiction with a innovator solution.
Blockchain is changing industries. That's what we say that we're doing here, essentially. So I'm going to start with you, Guillermo, again, and I'm going to come back. So after digital identity is, let's say that we have that, okay? What should be the critical path then? What are the industries that are closer to being affected by blockchain?
Let me comment just first things. It's important to see that we are starting to talk about use cases, not blockchain. Nothing that we were talking will be possible without blockchain. But the good thing is that we are not talking about the technology, we are talking about the use cases of that technology. And this is big, because I was in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space for the last 12 years. And this is the first time that I am starting to talk about use cases, not the technology.
So besides or beyond cryptocurrency?
Yes.
Okay.
Regarding your question, identity is a very fundamental piece.
Yeah.
If you are going to have digital asset, you are going to have an owner, and that owner has an identity, and they had to prove the identity. If I am going to transact with ACE, we need to be in compliance with the regulation, and this will need identity. So the identity is the missing piece in the internet today, not only in the blockchain space, in the entire digital ecosystems. And we need to create our own identity system every time on every business. The critical disruption is to create a new layer on top of the current internet infrastructure, which is identity. And on top of that, we need to enable all the different use cases that we are talking about.
Ace, do you agree with the use case approach that Guillermo is proposing here?
Yes, definitely. I'm so happy that now everyone, including governments, understand what are the clear values that blockchain brings: privacy-preserving identities, security, and a lot of things are emerging from those kind of core values that are built on top of, I would say, digital identity. Digital identity is the core infrastructure for doing anything: digital payments, digital vote, digital documents, digital signings, and all that stuff.
Social interactions.
Yeah. So the core use case that we are currently focusing is maritime import and export. There are a lot of documents still are transferred in an original paper format that are costing about $4 billion like around the world. So if we make government authorities, bankers, and shipping agents to accept those kind of electronic copy, like that are verifiable based on blockchain technology, then that will give us huge value, at least like $400 million plus a year.
Super clear. Bruno, I guess that you're going to say financial. But what is next?
No, for sure. I think, it's, as I mentioned, blockchains and ecosystem games. But maybe on the identity part, I can also give an interesting angle because, yeah, verifiable credentials are a technology that came from crypto blockchain. But I think the key issue there is reusability. And if you think about even in the financial industry, it's very interesting because if you're opening a bank account, it's very costly. There's a lot of friction on the user experience as well. If you're a fintech, probably you're integrating an API from a third party to do the onboarding, the KYC, the liveness tests. If you issue credentials, you can reuse any kind of other financial institution or regulated entity for like a specific time period if it's valid. And it can really decrease costs to the overall ecosystem if you think about financial industry and capital markets. But credentials can be much more complex than KYC and onboarding. You can actually issue a credential for like a credit score. You can issue a credential for suitability to access to a specific product or an investment product. So I think it's like a very rich opportunity there. But also, you need to think about what's next as well. When you think about what can be done in the current state of financial and capital markets, usually you have this payment, instant payment infrastructures, and also open banking and open finance, right? People can usually initiate payments. If you're like a fintech, you can initiate payments for a third-party bank if I'm a client and I authorize, right? But with like this common rail, if you think about a country or even on international rail, you can not only initiate payment, but also program the whole logic of the life cycle. So you can trigger the payment, invest in a specific product, divest depending on market condition, do split payments, and also access liquidity and assets across all the ecosystem. Because now, usually, the liquidity or the asset part is siloed. So it's sitting within a stock exchange or a receivable registry or any kind of like marketplace. But if you think about common rails and like a real like open loop ecosystem, it will be all interconnected. So you can like program and access assets and liquidity across a whole nation or even like international rails.
Thank you, Bruno. John Cap, beyond financial, if we establish identities, education, health, and other important public services there in which startups have the opportunity to invest and develop business models. What do you see in Korea and beyond Korea? Because you have quite an experience here in Latin America and the Caribbean as well.
Before I tell about that, your question, somebody talk about the government initiate innovation and the providing the create some new business. But how about changing the viewpoint? I'm working for the government platform, digital government platform committee under the presidential office, and we arguing every day. What's the GovTech? What's the definition of the GovTech? Because they try to make the digital government platform, and they categorize these companies as GovTech. No, all digital companies GovTech. And then what's the customer? Customer is the people in the nation as a digital government platform. Then what's the benefit for them? So even no matter what the blockchain and AI, it should be benefit to the people. So for example, I told you, my university transcript. I always bring my transcript, but 20 years ago, 10 years ago, school keep my personal record. And unless I visit the school and asking my transcript and pay something $10 or $20, otherwise nobody verify, nobody agreed this is official transcript. So this is very stupid, very inconvenient. And then now, whenever I need to submit my transcript, I can send myself, and it can authorize with the blockchain technology and through the government certification. So this is a different way of the benefit for the people and saving their money and time.
I totally agree with that. But let me challenge you on this. When I go into, for example, education credentials, and you brought up that topic, okay? I see a lot of companies out there trying to do the same, okay? So for me as a consumer, we're talking about clients here, no? As a consumer, I don't know where to go. I really don't. I mean, I would love to have digital wallets are plenty, platforms are plenty, but for me it's very difficult as a consumer to understand and how to navigate the fragmentation.
Right. So far,
can you help me with that?
So far, it's a very starting stage. Not that the mature, all our digital product is deployed. So that's why somewhat I feel this is a very convenient, but somewhat I don't know what to do with this solution. But that's why the government role is very important. So all department, all ministry, they should be integrated. They should be work together. Not only education department, only the labor department sort of thing. So even the financial department, all department getting work together and having like a, for example, super app, one platform, and then all people can utilize daily life here and there, something like that. But and the next question of you, what will be the next? I can say climate technology. Because so many people talk about the carbon credit. But how you measure and report and validate carbon credit? So far, now is an analog system, paper. Writing some expertise survey, and they said, this is a good quality of carbon. 1 ton, done. Then we can apply, I can sell or buy. But if the surveyor, expertise has a wrong decision, how you correct that? So I think the blockchain and the digital technology should be implied on that the carbon credit issue, and then we can solve double accounting issue, transparent issue, sort of that, and the huge market. So I'm promoting as possible as AI or blockchain technology company, could you involve the climate area?
That's super interesting because we don't have that much of a deal flow on the climate tech on blockchain. And this is a super interesting take. Bruno.
Yeah, just to complement, I think climate and tokenization of ESG assets are very interesting. When I was leading the central bank efforts, we did a tokenization working group that's putting together, is actually ongoing, a regulatory framework for tokenization of financial assets and securities, but other types of real-world assets. And one of the sub-working groups is only focusing on tokenization of ESG assets, because Brazil has a lot that's being debated in the Congress to create like not only a voluntary marketplace, but an actual cap and trade marketplace for carbon, right? So why not run the issuance, the trade, and the settlement of these ESG assets on top of a blockchain-based infrastructure? Could be DREX. It's interesting, in Brazil, it's even broader, about like broader use cases, but we have the identity stack in Brazil. It's already blockchain-based. So if you think about like a country stack, such as India stack, the Brazilian stack, or any kind of country stack, I think the identity piece is a core piece. You have the settlement infrastructure and the liquidity coming from the bank and the capital markets as well. But you can tokenize anything, like real-world assets, real estate, ESG assets. I think it will be all patched all together, and like incredible opportunities much beyond finance will be available.
Thank you, Bruno. Ace, you flew a long flight to be here as a startup. So thank you for that, first of all. But the question is, what opportunities do you see when you come here to the Latin market? And what are your needs in order to actually take advantage of those opportunities?
I see a lot of governments start to build, but now we have countries already built those kind of GovTechs and blockchain-based systems. So I think it's very important to see the opportunities that we can make the first interoperability use cases between governments. For example, finance, maritime exchange.
Independently of the region?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it's a good start to have a specific use case between Korean government and governments in LAC to have the first use cases. I talk to a lot of analysts in like Gartner, and I know a lot of experts in this field, and all people are saying is what's your use case? Is it domestic? Is it in production level? Or is it for proof of concept? But and if we can make the first in production level interoperable between government case, then that can open up the new field, new era of the blockchain.
Thank you very much. That's very useful. Give me your perspective on that, Guillermo. Look at other regions from Latin America and the Caribbean, especially Korea, and how do we work with them? What we can learn and do with them?
Let me introduce an area where we didn't speak, which is international trade. And we are doing an interesting project with the IDB. We are working with different custom agencies in the region. And we are starting to create credentials around a program that already exists, which is the Economic Authorized Operator, which is a certification that you can get from your own custom agency and is valid around the world. What we are doing with IDB is starting to issue in a digital way the Authorized Economic Operator certification. And we are working with many different countries in the Latin region, but also with, for example, with the Cross-Border Custom and Border Protection Agency, and also with the program that Ace mentioned before, which is the Silicon Valley Innovation Program. They are working also in the same way in order to create a verifiable information exchange platform. And I know that in Asia, countries like Singapore, Korea are going in the same way. So we have, in the international trade, we have a huge opportunity to start working on that.
Super. So trade, climate, education, financial, we touch upon those. So we have 3 minutes left. So we're going to take advantage of those 3 minutes. So what I'm going to ask you, it's a surprise question, which you have to be very efficient in delivering, which is in 5 years, not 3, no 10, by 5 years, what will be the main headline in the blockchain industry or the blockchain use that we will see in each of your industries or companies? Who's the first volunteer? I know there's an impromptu, so... All right, thank you.
Yeah, 5 years, maybe with the blockchain election, political election, it can be done through the, the blockchain technology, and all people participant, very small time, not the 5 day, 2 days election, but single shot. I hope.
Thank you. Bruno.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think in 5 years you're gonna start to see like countries should become like fully tokenized, and I can say that maybe Brazil can become one of the first, if not the first, top 10 economy to be fully tokenized. It also usually starts in finance because the money is there, the liquidity is there, like the capital is there, but it also brings together different types of markets and opportunities. And you're gonna see it in a domestic scale and then also in a global scale, especially on the plumbing side, but it will unlock opportunities in the upper layers as well in the application.
Thank you very much. Ace.
I see in 5 years, you can open your bank accounts in 2 a.m. in your bed without visiting any banks.
And hopefully, in Korea and Latin America with the same kind of approach, okay?
Yes.
I agree with all of the people in the panel, but I want to introduce the word decentralization. In the internet that we already have, everything is centralized, and this is a honeypot for hackers, and we are having a huge problem for that. So in 5 years, I see that all the industries and the platform in the internet will be decentralized.
Yeah, we didn't touch on Web3, but I think that that's another common theme here. So 39 seconds, time enough to thank you very much for the conversation, for being open-minded, and for all the audience for still being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of IDB, we want to thank you. Please, let's just organize to have our official photograph of the last session of our event. Thank you very much. I just want to take this moment to thank Marcelo, Tinke Pankin, Bruno Batavia, Chen Hunchin, Guillermo Villanueva. Muito obrigada a cada de vocês. Thank you very much, each one of you. Well, it was such enlightening and engaging discussion on the blockchain and digital economy. Thank you very much. Your insights actually was really crucial for understanding new frontiers of innovation in Korea and LAC. I want to make an invitation for you who are with me in here. We have the IDB YouTube channel, which was streamed these 2 days. So if you want to go through any panel discussions, you can go to IDB channel and take advantage of the recording, okay, and see all over again. We also have Connect Americas on social medias, connected with N Americas in a plural. So go there, follow the profile, the Instagram, the social media, and you can also go through your photographs and go with the hashtag Korea-LAC. That's our official one. As we come to an end of the Korea-LAC Trade and Innovation Forum 2024, we hope the sessions have been insightful and also productive for each and every one of you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to give a hearty thank to all our panelists and moderators who have, or better, who had been with us during these 2 days. Thank you very much for being here with us. Insights shares today and also tomorrow lay a strong foundation for collaborations and business opportunities that can shape and share economic future. Thank you for your participation and contributions. We look forward to see you again in future editions of the Korea-LAC series. We wish you a safe travels back home to your houses. And now it is time to our networking luncheon on the same place than yesterday on 50th floor. And please take this opportunity to connect with other participants. Share your insights as I just did the invitations to build valuable relationships. Thank you very much. And I want to also say thank you for having me here. And for you that are at home, thank you very much for being with us. So thank you. Thank you to each one of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.